Hey Heather, it's Laurie. I know you had some questions about your RV covers, so I wanted to take a moment to show you what we did here on Mother Jones. Just a quick show and tell, I guess. So I will get right to it.
Punta, Punta Herrero.
That's Damon's wonderful music in the background. He's looking at charts, not wanting to be on camera. There he is. This is our main salon, and these cushions are 17 years old and they're in great shape. There's a little bit of damage here on the edges, just where Kima always gets up with his claws, and the foam's exposed. So I've taken some big stitching here and just done some really basic stitching to keep that foam together. The foam underneath is in great shape. The rest of the fabric's in great shape. But it's also not really like my favorite colors in the world. And having the dog on board and being the kind of person that lives in a space, I wanted something that I could wash. So I found some great fabric at a fabric store in Panama, and some great ladies who helped me figure out how to make this system. So basically, these are the slip covers that I made, which is sort of a lighter teal. It's an upholstery fabric. It's not a natural fabric, which is important because in our environment, the more natural a fabric is, the more likely it is to grow mildew and mold. So you might want to consider that if you're talking about being in humid climates. So it's got a lot of whatever the opposite of unnatural natural fibers is. Synthetic fibers. There you go. So for the sides here, I just basically make covers that come over. And this is important too, because I have this cushion that comes in right here, and I don't want the fabric, I want the fabric to be smooth. I took this batting, which is basically just a mattress cover that I got at a swap meet, and I put it on the inside of the fabric. So when it goes over when it covers this, it'll be smooth. And I'll show you what I mean in just a minute. Okay, so clearly the batting is going to go on this side, and I just made sort of a sleeve here. Just kind of like put a little shirt on this. And if you look at the stitching here, I had a really great tutorial from a woman who helped me make these beautiful rounded sides, like making a sleeve on a shirt. And then it just comes over here, and I'm lucky that this easily pops out, and then I'm able to just slide this on. And there we go. There's one side. So the concept of the bottom cushion covers are basically like big shower caps. So I made channels here. You measure your cushion, and you can do that with pins, and I can show you how to do that. But and then cut these corners out. And then basically I put these channels in with some string and some barrel clips so that you can just slide it on and put it together. Now because it's so small and you're not moving the cushion back and forth, there's not a lot of slippage from side to side. So on the bigger cushions I have some webbing in between to keep the cushion tight here, but because this one's so small we don't need to do that. So speaking of the bigger cushions, here is a good example of what it'll look like before it goes on. And so you can see we have the same channeling that I made for the other cushion, and then this webbing in the middle. And what we're going to be able to do is just slide the cushion in here and then tighten it up. And as you can see, because our cushions are the same but opposite, I've labeled my cushion covers starboard for the starboard side cushion. Alright, I'm going to put it up now. You probably do this with like a rubber, like a elastic material, but I didn't have that. So I just used string and these barrel clips. And so basically we're going to thread the cushion through everything that's already on here and then just pull it down. Okay, so when you're done, your cushion is covered and your crisscrosses keep this together so that when folks sit on it, it doesn't slide back and forth. and your channels keep the whole thing together and on. Now again, you could probably do it with elastic, and that would be a good idea, and we might change to that at some point, but for now this is what we have. You might want to also notice, Heather, if you're talking about completely redoing your cushions, that this has like waterproof-esque, water-resistant bottom onto it. That's because your fabric's going to breathe on top of whatever it's sitting on, especially in humid climates. So you want to have something that protects your fabric from molding. You may also notice that there's a little bit of rust on the bottom of these cushions. Well, that's from these big plates that hold our boat together, which we've covered with painter's tape to prevent further rusting. So then it's just rinse and repeat with all the other cushions, which I'm going to do now and show you the final product in just a minute. Okay, so I put everything on, my sides, my tops, my bottoms, and you'll see here that right there that there's a little cutout I made because we're always going around that corner and putting our grubby hands on the cushion, so you might want to consider that if you have some high traffic area. So just take the time to do a really simple little cover so that you can extend the life of your fabric and not have to wash it so often. And finally, our silly dog likes to stand on this table when we leave, this beautifully varnished table, because he can see out the salon to see if we're coming home. So I made this very simple, again, a similar shower curtain type cover. You see you have a channel here with elastic in it that's worked really well, and I just slip it on when I know we're going to be gone. So there is our shower top table cover, and it's a really kind of hard fabric so that he can't get into it with his nails. Very tough fabric, but it's also synthetic, and Damon learned this when he put a hot pan on the table cover, and so now we have this beautiful little polka dot that matches our fabric, and that is the way we look at things on Mother Jones on the bright side. Alright, if you have any questions, let me know. Obviously there's a lot more measuring and cutting and sewing that is involved in doing this kind of a project, but it gives you a general concept to get started on, to get help with when you're ready, or give me a call and I'll help you out as much as I can.